How's it going, YouTube? It's TecXpansion, and today I wanted to talk about a game that's had its ups and downs, both in real time and within my own opinion. I want to remind you before we go any further that this is an opinion and all opinions are biased, so you may not agree with what I have to say, but this is my personal opinion on the state of Call of Duty. If you don't agree with my opinion, you can feel free to let me know in the comments. But we're going to get right into it because there's lots to talk about, especially with Modern Warfare 3 coming out very shortly.
TecXpansion.
Ah, Call of Duty. A nostalgic game. Back in the days, it used to ignite curiosity and bring together friends and people across all different spaces of the internet. There wasn't a day you couldn't find a match in a Call of Duty server and either get stomped or be the one to stomp people. It was a good time. These days died shortly after Black Ops, I'd say maybe 3, and a new generation carried forth. I guess Activision and its players were getting tired of the same exact repeat copy of the game, where the movement felt the same and everything just felt the same. So they wanted different. And Activision tried to provide that with Black Ops 4, and they failed quite miserably. It got really bad reception on launch, but because their other games tanked even harder, it started to get a lot more better reception. Around 2019, Call of Duty decided to launch a new Modern Warfare under the name Modern Warfare 2019, and it sold pretty well. It was a really nice game and it was fleshed out, and everybody seemed to enjoy it along with the Warzone that went along with it. Personally, I started noticing problems a little bit before this, but this is where I started really noticing problems, and I'll explain that in just a minute, but I'll keep going with this story. As everybody was enjoying Call of Duty in its prime days, once again, Call of Duty decided to pull the rug right under everybody's feet in Warzone and drop a map that was less than favorable to almost everybody. Not to mention when Cold War came out, there was some bugs because they were using two different looking engines between the same game on Warzone, so it looked really buggy there, especially with like say diamond camos. It was a mess at best. Now, as far as gameplay, there was two things I was noticing. Call of Duty was transitioning from their more original gameplay style to a more modern and realistic type of style, where you would die much easier, movement felt much slower, and you would take damage and effectively be hurt from a lot smaller distances of falling. This sense of realism is insanely good for the campaign, and I can't tell you how amazing it looked on both Modern Warfare 2019 and the 2022 installment. But when playing multiplayer on maps like Shipment, you really start to notice the cracks in how bad it is. See, if Call of Duty players are known for one thing, it's for being insanely sweaty. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but because YouTubers also exist, you have literally everybody in the game running the exact same loadout that they learned from their favorite YouTuber, who learned it from their favorite YouTuber or their friend. It's just all the same thing. It becomes the thing that's dull and no fun. And on maps like Shipment, you start to notice this when everybody's only running around with shotguns. Another big problem, this has spanned since the beginning of Call of Duty though, and if we're going to talk about hyper-realism, this should be the first focal point, is the fact that snipers can, like, quickscope you and shoot you from close range. No matter what Call of Duty you're playing, you could play COD 4, you could play the newest Call of Duty, you could play Modern Warfare 3, the brand new one that's coming out soon, and snipers will literally be in the front lines shooting you as if they had a submachine gun. Talk about realism, why? That makes no sense. You fix every other aspect of the game besides that. Anyways, I digress. Back to my point. After the first Modern Warfare 2019, you really started to notice the cracks in the surface happen a lot more and a lot more frequently. And a good example of this is microtransactions. They are forced very heavily down your throat after the 2019 installment. And that can't even be argued. I found a Reddit post the other day where somebody said that in Black Ops 3 you can get weaponized 115 camos for every single gun, and why don't they do this anymore? And somebody put in the comments there that because they wouldn't get money. because they get a lot of money for charging you only for one gun rather than charging you to get all of the guns and have a camo. Because here's the ideology behind it. If you have every gun with a nice camo, you wouldn't need to buy another camo set because you have one really cool one and that's fine with you. But let's say all of your guns are blank and kind of look like shit. Well then, I mean, of course you're going to want to buy more guns, right? And of course, if they all have different tracers and different camos and different effects, you're going to want to get the different ones, right? It's the fear of missing out. And that's what they try to do to you. That's why in the start of a Call of Duty's lifespan, you will have the really crappy looking skins and the skins that don't really do much. And near the end of the Call of Duty's lifespan, you have really cool operators with skins and bundles. And see, it's fun and all, but then you end up wasting all of your life, your hard-earned money, your sweat, your tears, your blood for a video game. These whales, I mean, of course, sure, they have the money to do it, but why? Why do that? You're just enabling these corporations to go ahead and rob people. Another piece of the money grab that I think is ridiculous is how in a beta game you already have the paid for skins for an elite battle pass, which another thing, the main game's already $70. The next step up is already at 100. You're paying $100 just for the game alone, or $70 just for the game alone. And then you don't even get the bundles that come with it. If you get the game alone, you get nothing. You get scratch, blank characters, blank assets, and you're waiting. You're literally on a drip feeder, waiting for the next content to come out that you can actually get to make your character look cool. That's if you don't spend another $10 for the battle pass and try and grind that out, which now brings your value of your game to $80 that you've wasted because you can't get that money back. Bundles are another $10 to $30 per bundle, so that's another thing to think about too. If you've wasted enough money on that, one single bundle puts you over $100, and if you've already spent $100 for the game, well, boom, you're spending even more of money that you can't get back yearly. So let's get back to the gameplay because we've already acknowledged and learned that Call of Duty is just a giant cash grab. So as far as gameplay goes, I will say that Modern Warfare 3 has done a lot better in that aspect. The movement feels a lot more arcade-like, faster and refined. One thing I didn't like is that kill times take a long time. Either that or we're still doing the whole meta BS. Which, if you're not familiar with what meta is, every single week Call of Duty decides to change out the weapon and make the last week's gun incredibly crap, and then new week's gun really overpowered. So unless you're a YouTuber or you're one of the people that watch one of these weird, annoying Call of Duty YouTubers, then you're more than likely going to get killed by the rest of the team because they're gonna sweat their asses off and find out what the next YouTube gun is while you're still sitting there on the last YouTube gun. Or maybe even just a random gun that you thought looked cool and just so happened to be meta that season. Now that's not to say that you can't go out there and get kills with a non-meta weapon. I'm not saying that. If you play good, you can actually do good in the game. But for the most part, this is how people play because everybody wants that tiny little edge up in order to feel like they're better than the last person. Alright, so I'm done crapping on Call of Duty because for a long time, this game had a very fond moment in my heart. As of recently, it started to deteriorate into hatred, but let's hold back into those fond memories, okay? So let's notice the good that Call of Duty is done or doing recently.
Before we continue, I'm going to tell you about a project going on at the TecXpansion headquarters. Does your social media content or business logo feel boring to you? Are you looking for something fresh and inspiring that truly fits the needs of your brand? Then elevate your style with Peachy Designs. We create stunning logos, graphics, and more. If you need anything from captivating logos, personalized business cards, event invitations, eye-catching posters and flyers, or even customized wallpapers and backgrounds, then Peachy Designs is the choice for you. With designs customized especially for your needs, deep attention to detail, real communication, and timely delivery, Peachy Designs is here for all of your graphic needs. For more information, I'll provide a link in the description.
As I said before, again, the Modern Warfare 3 game, it feels a lot more arcade-like in the multiplayer, which is, again, something that is really good and people have been looking forward to, because Modern Warfare 2022, it was so slow and sluggish and ugly, and I hate it. I hate it, absolutely. I did not even keep playing it after, like, the third month it came out, because I just thought it was so bad. See a video about that coming out later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check back in with it after a year of it being out and see what it's like. But anyways, another good thing that they're doing is they're bringing back zombies, which is likely due to the fact that Call of Duty has noticed that a lot of its community still plays zombies and will go to Black Ops 3 to play it. And because of that, Call of Duty's probably tired of getting these reports that people are going to play Black Ops 3 on Steam and get hacked. The modding community on Black Ops 3 is incredibly amazing, and they do a great job with their work, but it goes unnoticed majorly because there's such hard rumors of hacking going on there. There's also scandals and whatnot that happened with Activision Blizzard during that time, but we're in a Microsoft era, so we're not going to focus on that. But again, bringing back zombies was a very integral play on their part because it helps save the Black Ops 3 community and it stops the drip feed that people were having, where they were trying to go to anywhere and anything in order to get Black Ops, or zombies content, I should say, and ultimately running into very huge issues with their own PC, with their own privacy, with their own protection. It was a bad issue, and I'm glad that they decided to step up and take a fix for it. With the clips that have been surfacing around, it seems like there's going to be a lot of cool things going on with zombies too, so it should be pretty interesting. Another thing I wanted to talk about, this one's kind of minute, but I think it's a cool detail to add. I've noticed as of the beta happening that they've unleashed a lot of really cool looking skins, like icons and charms, and they even gave you a whole operator right for completing the beta. And the operator, honestly, even though it's a crash test dummy, it kind of looks cool, which you wouldn't typically get something like that from COD. You would get like a red army man. Whoa, so different. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that they're in the right direction. They're taking good steps. And I honestly think the UI of Modern Warfare 3, the looks of it, it's very appealing to the eye. It's a modern type of clean look that I feel like a lot of people are going to follow suit with. However, with that being said, due to the way Call of Duty is and the way it's been, people have been waiting. People are dying for a new first-person shooter game to come out that actually is good. And if Xdefiant does it right, it doesn't matter if it delays it. Ultimately, you bring out a bad game and everybody's going to hate it. If you delay a good game, so what? They were perfecting a masterpiece. And if Xdefiant comes out as good as it was in these trials, I don't think there's going to be as strong of a future for Call of Duty. If you disagree with that thought, let me know in the comments. I do like Call of Duty, and I think it's had its ups and downs. I think with the new Modern Warfare 3 2023, it's headed on a very high path on the upward trend. Hopefully those of us who've been watching other parts of my channel keep this in mind and think about possibly investing in Microsoft, because this was a big play on them and could potentially boost their stock greatly. One last thing. I don't think that skill-based matchmaking should be in public matches. I think that that is just horrendous. Terrible idea. Honestly. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the content and you want to see more. If you like this series and you want to see more of it, just let me know. Leave something in the comments, like, share, all of that good stuff. Subscribe, all of it. And stay tuned for next time where we're going to talk about Modern Warfare 2022 after a year of it being out, how it's doing, what it's like. Has it changed? Make sure to hit that subscribe bell to keep up to date. Thanks. Have a good one.
TecXpansion.